Hey everybody, welcome to the Mr. Movie, or Movies and TV Shows on the Ball. I'm Steve.
And I'm Jay.
And we just got out of Black Adam, or should I say, the Shazam of spin-offs. So, Jay, what was your thoughts on Black Adam?
I liked it, especially for this is like one of the better DC movies. I feel
Oh,
like.
really? I did too. I felt like it was sort of slow, but I liked how it showed sort of him as. I mean, they could have made it. They could have explained it to me a little bit easier. Like maybe if I would have, read a little bit of like, here's the stupid the Black Adam. Here's the basis of Black Adam.
Right.
You need to know.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I did like how they sort of they didn't spend a whole lot of time on like the Hawkman and stuff. Like sort of. Like,
they were just there. Now I
right.
did have to say I liked Dr. Fate as da-da-da-da, James Bond.
Right.
Pierce Brosnan plays him. I've known Dr. Fate because I watched the Smallville show.
Okay.
He shows up like in season 10 or 9.
Okay.
Of Smallville, yeah.
Right.
And I feel like, I mean, The Rock still has, he's the answer. This is kind of like DC's answer to Venom.
Yeah, he's sort of like the anti-hero.
Yeah, but the problem is I felt like Black Adam was kind of, did you feel like he was stiff? But I felt like he was stiff, but for what The Rock brought, he had enough charm.
Yeah, it sort of reminded me of, like the when they're teaching in Terminator 2, where the kid's teaching the Terminator how to be like...
Very interesting. Yeah. Very, kind of like standing where he's like,
teaching him
you can't kill anybody.
He slowly picks up sarcasm.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
What I liked about it is I kind of felt like the problem I felt like the kids, like you watch Shazam.
Uh-huh.
You've seen Shazam, right?
Right.
And the kids, they all had some personality.
Yeah.
And I felt like the kids had, the little kid, the little boy.
Yeah.
He had personality, but I was kind of hoping he'd be a little bit more. There'd be more pizzazz to him.
Yeah.
Did you kind of feel that way?
He was sort of like the movies, like the kid was sort of like the the damsel in distress type role.
Yeah, and but he was kind of the he wasn't. Well, there's a difference between the damsel in distress that you can that's so formulaic, but where I felt like he kind of was almost I felt a little bit like he was annoying. Not annoying, but just sort of I don't know, just
I don't know if he was annoying. Like he wasn't.
He didn't
super annoying.
He wasn't like Short Round, but he was pretty close. Maybe not. Maybe he would.
I don't know.
I think when we focused more on Black Adam,
right?
I was like, okay, I'm into it. And then when they moved it to the kids, I was like, get to Black Adam. Get to Black Adam.
Yeah, he was mostly there just to be in peril and be saved.
Yeah. What was your thoughts on Pierce Brosnan, the character? I knew of Hawkman a little bit from. Right. I know Dr. Fate a little bit from Smallville, but I really liked. I think Pierce Brosnan brought some charm to Dr. Fate. He was the best one, and this is the first film I think that DC has done since. DC has done since the merger between them and Discovery.
Oh, got it.
So they're kind of, they cleaned house a little bit,
right? And
so they've gotten a new president of DC Comics or DCEU Comics.
Right. I did like how the kid was super into the DC superheroes.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of the same thing you saw with Shazam too.
Right.
And I liked him. I liked Black Adam. It was kind of like with Black Adam, where I liked what they did. I was more energetic when The Rock showed up. It is The Rock, and The Rock is kind of not last, but sort of this generation's he is a movie star.
Right.
You know, and I think he brought something. I liked how he was sort of interesting. You know, he was, you know, kind of, he had enough, he still brought his person, even though, Black Adam was kind of a stiff character, he had enough charm. He brought his roughness to the role. And I liked what I liked the whole, you know, it wasn't, this film kind of didn't have that excitement as Aquaman did, or not, like, you know, I think Aquaman was so...
Yeah, I don't know. Aquaman felt more like, you know, adventure-y to me.
Yeah.
They started going on all these, like, little quests and stuff.
And you're right. And I think Shazam, or not Shazam, Black Adam felt kind of like, okay, you know, when, like, we're dealing with... Pierce Brosnan was fine. When we're dealing with The Rock, it was fine. But I felt like it was... But when you had the kids, they were just sort of like...
Right, yeah, they just sort of, you know, develop the other plot. And then I did like his action scenes where his, like, actually, like, blowing people up.
Yeah, well, no, the rocket scene where, like, he holds the rocket.
Yeah, where he does, like, he's moving super fast and, like...
Yeah, and he holds the rocket and then he throws it. Right. And it kind of reminded me of Iron Man. You know, well, in that scene in Iron Man 1 when he's walking, like, where they throw the tank, tank shoots at him, and then he, like, moves and takes his gun and shoots the thing. You know,
blows up the tank.
You
know, I think you also said it reminded you, like, the Quicksilver scenes.
Yeah, from X-Men Days of Future Past. And I like that. I was kind of like, I enjoyed it. Do you think that? I mean, I enjoyed it when we got to The Rock.
Right.
And I felt like, but it felt kind of like we were just sort of. Did you feel like you were just waiting for Black Adam stuff to happen, and the plot was just sort of like? I just felt like my thought was when you kind of dealt with the kids.
Right. It
was just kind of like they're not that interesting.
Right. I can't remember. Is this the first time they brought up? Was it not Interpol? Like, what's the Intergang? Like, you know, like, sort of like, I think.
Well, there's the Suicide Squad.
I think this is like sort of like the, you know, like criminal.
The Doom, not the Doom. I think this is the first time in the DCEU that they've mentioned.
I think it's called the Intergang. I wasn't sure if they've been in other movies yet.
I don't think they've been in DC. They might have been referenced in the Arrowverse.
Okay, I can't remember if it was referenced in the Black Panther when they were trying to, like, smuggle the
Black Panther. Black Panther's Marvel.
Oh right, no, that's a different
thing. I think it was. Oh God, well, like the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I guess this is the first time they mentioned the Intergang.
Yeah, and I liked what they did, and I kind of, that would have been kind of cool to see. I was kind of hoping that the ending credit scene, like the stinger, would have been like, because in the comics and I think in the lore, Black Adam is Shazam's arch nemesis. You know.
Right, that's my understanding, but I'm not super into.
I mean,
I don't know.
But
too much about Black Adam.
Yeah, we're too we're too marvelous for DC. But I liked the. I kind of liked. It did kind of have that Thor vibe, a little bit. You know, where Thor was sort of like kind of the can't understand his customs in a. Yeah. You know, where it's sort of like. He kind of felt like that guy, but I also, you know, and I don't think, you know, I mean, it's. I was talking to I was talking to one of the managers at the Riviera, and she was saying that, you know, they were kind of hoping for better numbers.
Right.
Did you kind of feel like it was it like, you know how we have that scale? Would you say that this film, if you let's do it two ways. If you had to pick between, you know, on a scale from 1 to 10, one being like skip it, or if a gun's to my head, I'll watch this movie. To 10, like I want to own it, I'll put it. Would you want to? How would you say?
I would
Probably
say it's
7.
I think it's 7. Yeah,
7.
I enjoyed it.
What would you have done differently if you would have directed it?
Ooh, I don't know.
Or like, would you want to change anything? I would have stayed away from the kids too much, just because I was like, they're just kind of there. I mean, but like, that was kind of the thing. I felt like that when we focused too much on when we focused on the Rock, I felt Rock, Bond, or Dr. Fate.
Right.
It was great, and then when you got to the kids, you were like, okay. I mean, that's how I felt. I mean, but I liked it. I thought it just needed. It was one of those films that I felt like, does it feel like it coasts just on the Rock's charm, or do you think that it did? Was it?
I don't know. I liked it. I guess I like how they tied back into Amanda
Waller, yeah, and the kind of like, and I liked. I mean, I did
sort of like they sort of like, okay, here's a threat, assemble a team.
Well, it's kind of like Amanda Waller, and I know it kind of reminds me of Thor,
right? Thor 1,
where Thor, they find the hammer, and Colston was like, when they arrest Thor,
right,
and that kind of thing, and Amanda Waller kind of reminds me of the Colston, of the DCEU,
yeah. Because it sort of had like that somewhat of like the Suicide Squad vibe, like sort of like here's a team of heroes are going to go do something. And they don't spend. I feel like a lot of movies like they get bogged down trying to explain everyone's
exposition,
right?
Which I feel like you need
they did better,
but they did. I do kind of think that they don't need to that's the problem I said with what Marvel does, what Marvel did. That DC is trying to do is Marvel is trying was so easy to kind of ease you in and say, here's who Captain America is,
right.
Here's who Thor is, and DC was like, okay, well, Batman, Superman, but they rushed you trying to get you. Right. I think Aquaman, they eased you in, but I think right. Aquaman is so much stuff with the Justice or just Super Friends and stuff like that,
right.
Thing. But I liked it. I mean, I think it's not. If it's, I felt like the pros for this film was, I think The Rock did what he did to try to keep this, but I felt like the script was a little bit. I don't know. Like the script was. I thought it could have needed just a tiny little bit of work. Yeah.
I thought it was good. I mean, I don't know. I'd say it's like up there with the better DC movies.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's not as good as the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, the newest one. Yeah.
But I think if I had to rank them, I think it's not as good as Zack Snyder's Justice League. But that's because I feel like you had you have 4 hours to really kind of.
But I don't know. That's a long.
That's a long ass movie. I know.
Right. I don't know. I feel like this one. Was
better pacing?
I think so.
If you had to pick between, was this better than? If you had to choose between, I think this was better than Suicide Squad. The
first one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I felt like, but I felt like. With the Charm of the Rock, it kind of had to carry. Charm of the Rock and Pierce Brosnan really made this film work for what it is. So I'll give it, on my scale, 87, maybe?
Okay, 87? Right.
Out of a 1 from 100, or like 87, like late 70s or late 80s is sort of where I'm.
Okay.
Where I felt like it's not like. Now maybe if I watched it maybe again with like director's commentary,
right, it
might sway me a little bit. But from my first impression, I give it like an 87 or a B plus.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't as good as Justice League Snyder Cut.
Okay.
But it wasn't as fun as Shazam.
So I guess what was your? I don't know. What was you think your favorite action scene was?
Probably the explosion, like him fighting all the guys in the pyramid.
Okay. For me, I don't. So he's like chasing people on the bikes.
Yeah.
And he throws a guy off the bike, and then he drives the bike into him, and it kills him.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, I liked how he was violent.
Right.
More. He was aggressive, but PG-13 aggressive.
Right.
Like, you look at it's what Wolverine's aggressiveness like in X2 when like he stabs the guy in the chest.
Right.
But like it wasn't as like aggressive as
like
Deadpool or something.
Right.
Where like or Logan. I mean Logan was that. But if I had to pick between, I feel like it's a good start to the new DCEU.
Right.
I mean, it's not great, but I mean, it's not as it's not like it's not as good. Like if you were to look at an anti-hero film, I would choose Venom. Was a lot better than this. I mean, but it's not The Rock's fault. I think it's just when you had too many of the kids and stuff. I was kind of like, let's get to The Rock. Let's get to The Rock. Right. Is that how you felt, or? I mean, I felt like the kids were fine, but it was just like I wanted more action.
Right. I guess they're just important for the plot.
Yeah, they were just kind of there. But like I said, I feel like they didn't have that personality like you got with Shazam.
Right.
That was my thing. But
right. Well, the kids in the Shazams were the heroes. Like,
yeah. Well, no, that makes no more sense. But it's like, help me. I feel like they're steering in the right direction.
Right.
It's if we see a Black Adam, I would like to see Black Adam face Shazam. I was kind of hoping, let me tell you this. I was kind of hoping that when at the end of Shazam 1, The Rock would have showed up. Like, hey, Shazam, I'm your arch nemesis. Kind of like in the way, if you remember in Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Did you see that movie? The second one?
Yeah.
I think we went together.
Yeah, we all saw it.
Remember how it was sort of like they kind of brought Tom Holland Spider-Man kind of into it? Because at the very end...
dimensional travel.
Dimensional travel, or was it like the sand? Remember he's at the beach?
Right.
He's or was that in Spider-Man No Way Home?
That was in Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
right.
Like they could have
teased like the two
the two things. That would have been kind of... I was kind of hoping for that. But what do you think? But yeah, I think it was good.
I agree.
So, signing off, this is Steve, and...
This is Jay.
And I guess our next view is going to be...
We don't know yet.
We don't know yet. We'll stay tuned.